So I thought I'd do this video today because so many of you are sharing your ideas with me and saying, I've got an idea, but how do I get it to market? And it can be quite a challenge, but it's a challenge that's definitely worth doing if you believe in something that you've got that is going to make a difference to parents, to households around the world. So I'll start with my story. So I developed My Carry Potty when my youngest son George was potty training, and you have to take your potty everywhere when you potty train, and he wanted to have a wee in the middle of the high street, and I had a newborn. I was like 21 years old, very young. Obviously it's not the time to potty train, but I didn't know that at the time. So I took his Thomas potty because he was very sort of clingy with that particular potty, and he liked anything Thomas. So he did a wee in the high street, and I went to pour the wee. In fact, I did pour the wee down a drain, and a guy came up to me and just went absolutely mad and said, "You can't do that. That's a disgrace," which is terrible, really, because upset George, it upset me. I had a newborn, and I thought, well, where else was I supposed to put it? It's not like I chucked it somewhere, which was a bad way of getting rid of it. I put it down a drain. So I did think, there has to be something better out there than this. So I'm absolutely rubbish at drawing. I'm not artistic one bit, but I thought we need a lid so us parents can go out and the little ones can feel confident when they potty train. So I went home, I thought, oh yeah, I'm going to put a lid on it, but didn't think about, obviously a lid is fine, but obviously where is the wee going to come out? So anyway, got some drawings done, and then I thought, okay, yeah, it's really great. This is going to be the best thing. And then I couldn't afford to do it, so I just parked the idea and had these drawings done and just put them in the garage. And then a few years on, my second husband saw the pictures and said to me, "God, these are amazing." And he never had any children, and I was thinking, God, that's good coming from him. And he said, "You've got to do something with this." And I said, "I just don't know where to start." So we found someone who could first of all make a prototype for us, and I didn't, obviously it needed a seal to keep and contain everything inside the potty. So along we went to a place in London somewhere, I think Guildford, and found someone that could actually make a prototype, a British company. And yeah, we had the prototype made. It was bloody expensive. I couldn't believe how expensive a prototype was. And it was really exciting. It was actually happening. And I waited days for the prototype to come. And this big parcel got delivered. And I was so excited. I waited for Darren to come. I was like, "Come on, quick, it's here." But I did think it was an extraordinary, massive parcel for a tiny little potty. But here it was. So this is the first potty, My Carry Potty. So it's absolutely bloody huge, too big for anybody. It's obviously like the measurements were completely wrong. It was really embarrassing, but it's quite funny. But yeah, it's very big. It's big enough for me to get on it. I can't open it actually. It's absolutely huge. So yeah, that was about £7,500 15 years ago, so a lot of money. So be prepared that when you do bring something to the market, you are going to need to make a prototype, because you need to see the prototype, you need to rip it apart, check it's what you want it to look like, and just it's really important. Everybody needs a prototype, but I'm sure if you find someone direct in China or wherever to get it made, unfortunately that is the cheapest place at the moment, so we had to go to China. So long and short of it is, we sort of did an R&D, which is really important when you come up with a product as well. Check all your competition, check your products, other products out there that are similar or like for like, and you need to try and make it better and be innovative to try and make it that next best thing that parents want to buy. So mine obviously was, because it's the only one in the world. I wanted it to have a handle as well, so the children could carry it around and use it as their own personal possession, because there's a really big gap at that time, whereas children only had those big bulky potties to take out and about from. And as I had that incident, it was a nightmare and it was upsetting. So then we move on to basically T1. So this is my first colour of the potty. I wanted, because of money and also because I asked lots of different parents. So you must do your research, talk to parents, friends, nursery schools, do loads and loads of research, because it's the biggest thing that you have to get right at the beginning. You can't get everything right. I've made loads of mistakes, but that is really important. So this colour was born first, and I really hate this colour now, but it was my first one, and it had to be obviously generic so boys and girls can use it, nice and bright, which is yellow, blue and red, so we covered all the primary colours that children really notice. So this is number 1 potty, and it had this, you know, really bright inside. I mean, it looks really garish now, but anyway, and that got to the marketplace. And, you know, I was thinking, great, this is going to be it. I'm going to make my millions. I'm going to go out and sell loads of them overnight. Obviously, that's not the case. So do be prepared to have a bit of a backup. And I just started getting on the phone thinking, okay, I've got it. It's ready. What do I do now? So I got onto the phone and I thought, I'm going to aim high. It's going to be John Lewis, because I was finding a trend. Whereas if a product, especially a children's product, and it's still the same today, was in John Lewis, then other companies, other stores would take notice and think, oh, if John Lewis is stocking it, then we're stocking it, it's good enough. So I aimed high. So I phoned, got on the phone. It's really difficult, and you'll find this, to get hold of buyers. They're like, you know, they're like celebrities in the world. You just can't get hold of them, obviously for reasons that they don't want people phoning them every day saying, I've got the best thing, I've got the best thing, you've got, you know, they would not get any work done. So I managed to find out who the buyer was. And I did get them on the phone because I'm a bit sneaky like that. And I just said, look, her name was Shelley. And I said, can you see me? I will take 15 minutes of your time. That's all. I want to show you something. And with my persuasive telephone manner, she said yes. So I go up with the Carry Potty and I'm there. And I could really nervous, sat in the room, going over my pitch. And I mean, it all went tits up when I got in there. I just didn't even think about what I was saying. I was gibbering on. But I just said, this is a potty, and she sort of looked at it, didn't really give me any indication whether she liked it or not, and just basically opened it, played with it, looked and said, well, what does it do? So I tipped some water in, shut the lid and said, it's leak proof. And then she sort of looked, so, you know, do a demonstration, go all out, think about how your USP is going to stand out in front of someone in 15 minutes with John Lewis. So she sort of looked at it and realised it didn't leak. And she said, okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Lovely to meet you. And I was like, was that it? You're not going to say I want 20,000 potties? But should we be in touch? And I thought, oh yeah, that old chestnut. So I left, went home, and I was a bit despondent. I was pleased that I saw her, but she never gave anything away. And so I went home, and I think this was the Thursday, and they were based in, I think, Oxford Street. And then on the Monday, I had an email saying, we loved your product and would like to place an order. Oh my God, that was such a moment. I'll never forget that moment. I phoned my husband, Darren, because he's been part of my journey. And we got, you know, drunk loads, got absolutely smashed. And thought we were going to be millionaires, and they were going to order like loads of potties, and they ordered 356 potties. Obviously not a lot, but still John Lewis ordered my potty. So then we had to get, we phoned China, sourced the factory, and basically they said we could only order a container, and we were like, oh my God, where are we going to find the money for 3,000 of these? So we did, we had to order the money, we just borrowed some at the house, you know, money, cash flow wasn't there, so we borrowed a bit out of Darren's business, and got the container delivered, and we were waiting. My God, was it huge. And it was delivered to my house, and we had everybody here. It was a massive truck, and like the bloke looked at us thinking, you're having a bloody laugh, aren't you? A container's going in that household garage. So we had to empty all the garage out, squeeze all these bloody potties in the garage, got all our friends and family, you know, involved. And then I said to Darren, I want to test them all, because just imagine, this is the world's only leak-proof potty. We launch it in John Lewis and they all bloody leak. So I turned my kitchen into a production line. I laid out loads of blue roll, got all our friends and family, loads of wine. Someone was putting water in, someone was shaking, someone was putting it on blue kitchen roll so we could see if there was any links. Someone was wiping it back in the cellophane, back in the box. And this went on for 10 days. Lots of takeaways, no cooking. The whole house and kitchen was covered in yellow potties. But do you know what? It's all part of the journey. It was really good fun. And not one leaked. Honestly, I can promise you that, not one leaked. So then we did our delivery, and Darren had to take the morning off. He's got his own business, get steel toe caps on his shoes, a hard hat, yellow thing. And we literally had a window in John Lewis of 15 minutes to deliver. And we were shitting ourselves. Like Darren was like, oh my God. And I was phoning, so are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Are you at the gate? And the whole thing was just so nail biting. And he got through, and he goes, it's there. They've got it there. And then John Lewis wanted me to launch it in store, so I went to Oxford Street. I felt amazing and stood there. And do you know, the first person that walked past me was Jamie Oliver and his wife. And I never forget that. And they were really intrigued and they chatted to me because he was launching some cookery ware downstairs. And then we sold out. We sold out of 50 potties. That's all they had in store. And we sold out and I was just so excited. We come home and then they replaced their order. But obviously John Lewis wasn't going to be enough, but I'm forever grateful for them for believing in me and my product. So that's how that all started. So we started off with packaging. So you get so many different opinions, so many. So, and some people said, you know, we don't want packaging. Some people said, you know, that just sat on the shelf says nothing. So you've really got to think about how you're going to explain something like this. And another thing is with packaging, it's a real pain in the arse sometimes because people rip it open, then damage the boxes and you've got to replace them as the manufacturer. So we did this box and we had just lifestyles done in our local park, got a friend in to do the photos and then obviously explained it on the back. So that's the first lot of packaging. Then we found the boxes were getting ripped and nowadays we're all about packaging and saving the planet, which I totally agree with. So this was launched like 11 years ago. So now we have no packaging, but it's funny because places like Korea and places like that still want it. They still like packaging. So we still have to have some, but not as bulky as this. So you have to think about all these different things. The packaging, how's that going to jump out on the shelf? You know, so many nights we spend just thinking, oh, this is not explaining it enough. How are we going to do this? But we got it right. And then that went to wayside and we got some new packaging now, which is very minimal on the front. So that was number one. Then we were getting people saying it was too small. Because this was a little bit small and the bowl was a little bit too small. So then you have to go to T2, which is like a different, we had to change the shape. We thought, okay, we're a year in, we've made a little bit of money, not a lot of money. I still had to work with Darren and promote his kitchens and stuff. So he was saying, get out there, sell some more kitchens and we can put some more into the business. We were remortgaging the house, borrowing money left, right and centre. And then wanted to go on to a different design. And I was so sick of seeing this, I'm really impatient. So we moved on from the yellow. And then I wanted to change it into little animals. So the animals were born, little ladybug here, and we changed the shape completely, bought more potties, did more testing, market testing, asking parents what they would like and to see in a carry pot. I mean, we had some ridiculous answers, wheels and all sorts. And then, so obviously, this was T2, so we made the seal bigger, we adapted the seal, adapted this so it's taller for boys, bigger bowl, and just more aesthetically gorgeous, you know, with an animal, so kids can relate to it a little bit more than just a coloured potty, and believe me, they absolutely love this design. So getting your product out there, getting into a store is really, really important, but the biggest thing that we had to do with this was protecting it. Obviously, because it's the world's only leak-proof potty, I would say we've invested over £160,000 in tooling, mistakes. You know, we've had loads of packaging where it was just broke, it was flimsy, waste of time. So you do make mistakes along the way, and don't think, you know, you're a failure because you make mistakes. You live and learn by your mistakes. So, you know, we had to get a patent and we had to apply for patents worldwide because we didn't want to invest all our money into My Carry Potty and have someone come along and copy it. And believe me, they will, and they have done. Because we've got a patent and a trademark, that really does protect us, but it comes at a cost. It's really expensive. So do your research on this as well. You've got to think of all these things from day one. Don't think we get it out there, get some money and then get a trademark or a patent, because they take years, months. Sometimes they don't happen at all, but if they're pending, you're covered. So from day one, if you're just about to do this, get out there, find a good patent lawyer, because they will be your saviour when you do have problems, when someone has copied you. Can't stress that enough. So got a patent lawyer. You know, it does cost a lot of money, but, you know, we just got someone at the moment that's just copied us on our own turf. So we're, you know, that's not going to happen. You can't. It's your livelihood. And this becomes your baby when it's your product and you put everything into it. You know, I've spent days and nights away from my kids to get this out to market, so you know no one's going to copy it. Then you go on to trade shows, so look at all your trade shows, There's a really big one for in particular for nursery called the Kinderjugend show, which is in Cologne. Great place, great show. This is your platform to go bang international. So we started off with a really small stand, but get great visuals. You need those visuals to show your product off, show children enjoying it. You have a great stand there. Darren and I went to the first show. We were absolutely inundated with people saying, this is amazing. What is it, a lunchbox? No, it's not a bloody lunchbox. So many people kept saying it, so we had to demonstrate. And we just got our first 4 or 5 countries. We were elated. The show cost us about 5-6 grand plus accommodation, so allow for money for that. You can get government grants, especially in your first couple of years of trading, so look for those. They do help you, they really want to help you, and that really helps. I think it's like a couple of grand for government grants, so that really helped us. And then we went to America and did a show there called the ABC show, and you can get a grant for that. I mean, it happened to be in Vegas, which was a bit rubbish, of course, but great. So those shows are really important. Then you do the consumer shows. They are so important as well. So you're actually just getting it out there to the people that are actually going to use it. So just a stand, it doesn't need to be mega fancy. You just need a card machine. But then you're selling direct to consumer. You get obviously more profit, but you're getting it out there. You're talking to parents face to face, getting them to know your brand. Brand awareness is so important. So getting that logo, choosing that colorway, keeping to that brand so people start recognizing My Carry Potty as this brand. Now that's taken me 11 years, but when we do our shows now, we just did our 11th show, people have come, oh, there we are, I've been looking for you. Oh yeah, we know it because of your brand. Branding is so important, so get someone to help design that. Get on their bio your URLs straight away. As soon as you come up with a name, get out there and buy that as well. Really important, so you got it. Get it for .com and US straight away. Really, really important. Another thing to remember. So then you move on from there, and then you've just got to keep reinventing it. Different colors, different animals. We've extended our range now, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, people say, what do you do all day, with the potties? I mean, it's constant. So you need your Facebook, you need your Instagram, you need to be constantly on there all the time, showing visuals, showing pictures, selling your product out there. Now we're very lucky. I mean, Instagram's huge, Facebook is huge. When I first started with My Carry Potty, it wasn't as big, and it's free. Use it, it's free. But just take your time setting it up, do competitions, do giveaways, do different things to get people to join you and talk to those people, get friends to share it. There's so many ways you can do free advertising. You don't have to spend loads of money in magazines. It never worked for me personally. It might work for some of you. But the biggest thing I can say is A, do your research, find your name, buy your URLs, get your patent lawyer under your belt, get your Facebook, your Instagram page, even if you just leave it to one side and set it up later on, but you don't want anyone else taking that name. Find someone. We've got a great girl that we deal with that, goes to China every 2 weeks. She speaks the language. We visit our factories. You have to visit your factories to check the conditions. We do that a couple of times a year. So there's so many things to think of. I'm not trying to blow your mind here, but just take your time and do your research. Ask somebody. I get asked all the time, how did you do this? How did you do that? Where's your factory? Where's this? Don't be shy to go on LinkedIn, find a brand you like and connect with someone and just say, look, sorry to bother you, do you mind? And more often than not, they will get back to you, like I will get back to you. We're very busy people when we've got a brand this big now, but I love to help. And more often than not, I still ask other brands, where did you do this? Or where did you get your packaging? There's so many different people out there that will help you. So that's my story about My Carry Potty. But I really just want to say to you, I never thought I could do anything like this, and I did. And that's with leaving school at 15. My teacher said to me, you're not going to go anywhere, Amanda. And look, I won British Female Inventor of the Year 2014 for the UK. If you've got an idea, even if you think it's a silly idea, talk to someone you can trust. Make sure you get, your non-disclosures, your letters of protection before you show anyone. Don't tell too many people either. I've got a big mouth and told loads of people, but don't do that. I'm not saying any of my friends or anyone copied me, but you will get that someone that is already out there who's a brand, and they hear it down the line and they will copy you. So if you've got an idea, go for it, do your research and enjoy every bloody moment of it, but you can do it. So that's my story, and I hope I've inspired you to go out there and do it yourself.